all eyes on the Stadium of Light today for Sunderland against Hull City. The team just emerging for their warm-ups now. Sunderland unbeaten at home so far this season. Hull City looking to find a bit of consistency as they look to pull away from trouble at the bottom end of the Championship. Elsewhere available at 12:30, Derby face Millwall. Of course, very important that results on the pitch are correct. But for these clubs and what they mean in the community, the good work that they do is reflected in this piece at Millwall.
In May 2008, just a day after his 16th birthday, Jimmy Mizen's life was taken from him, victim of an unprovoked attack. From that tragic loss, the Mizen Foundation was formed by Jimmy's family to share their story with a message of peace, forgiveness and hope.
There was a determination after he died that we weren't going to be beaten by what happened to him, and something good must come from it. It can't just be surely you have a child one day, next day they've gone and that's the end of it. And that's driven us now for the 17, coming up for 17 years since we lost our Jimmy. Covers everything we do, everything we say, do, think nowadays. Jimmy's in there somewhere. And so it's just trying to bring some good from it.
I've got 7 sons and some of my sons are big, they're rugby players. My dining room chairs were always breaking and Jimmy would fix them for me, or any gardening jobs or painting jobs. It would be Jimmy that I went to ask him to help me, and he'd always do everything with a smile. And after he was killed, he was known as the boy that sparkled, the gentle giant, because that was Jimmy, because in all of his 16 years and one day, we'd never had to tell him off. He really was a beautiful boy.
We was invited into a young men's prison, youth offenders prison. Didn't know what we were going to see. A little bit apprehensive going in there. You know, we're going to see versions of the person who killed our son, or we're going to see something different, and we saw something different. You know, young people, result of terrible decisions that some have made and where they are. And for us, it was all part of a learning curve, just trying to see the bigger picture. I think we tend to think we can solve society's issues by increasing punishment or some shortcut way. So for us, part of our learning curve over those years has helped us understand why some people perhaps do what they do. You know, a luxury in life, if you're born wanted and loved, that isn't afforded to everybody. Not to make excuses for some of the things that get done, but maybe there's reasons why they do. So I think it's all part of what we want to try and do from the position that we're in, to try and get people thinking differently.
Margaret and Barry travel the country visiting schools with their message. Last month, the annual Jimmy Mizen Cup took place at Millwall Community Trust, an event eagerly anticipated each year by local primary schools.
We work with the Mizen Foundation for about 15 years now, and we go jointly into schools and talk about positive activities, and we talk about the legacy of Jimmy, really. Now, Jimmy was very much into sport, you know, he was into basketball, football, cricket and rugby, but a big fan of Millwall. And we go into the local schools and talk about kids about positive activities and how sport can change their lives and make impact for them. You know, we work in tough boroughs. You know, we're in Lewisham and Southwark. I've got a borough that's got 46,000 young people in it, and there's lots of negative stuff going around for young people. And we just want to go in there with the Mizen Foundation and give them some positive activities to do.
Jimmy Mizen is a kind of like a heartbeat in the school, to be honest, and always thought of and spoken about and remembered as the year goes on. So obviously he went to the school. Family have got really great close links with the school, and obviously community, in the local community, the church, and the Mizens come in. So it's all year round, to be honest. It's lovely. But this sort of event here, I mean, obviously the children, you're adding football to that, so the kids absolutely love it.
Millwall were there from the beginning. Straight away they got in touch with him, was invited down, watch a game, and that support was there from day one.
And it's not just the club, it's the fans. As Barry said earlier, from day one, they came round to us, they raised money for us, they send us lovely messages, they're just there for us all the time. We're really grateful because it's made a big difference to how we cope with the loss of Jimmy.
It's a really high density urban area that's going to have a lot of issues and a lot of tough challenges to tackle. How important is the role of football within that?
It's really important. Part of my Primary Stars project is where we go into schools and we teach PSHE, which we grow across the behavioural mentoring, and football is a massive in there. So although we're teaching the children how to manage their anger, how to manage their triggers and how to put that into a positive light, it's really important that football's there as well, because these children, their outlet is football.
The club Jimmy supported have played an important role in the family's life since 2008, when they were invited to a game as they came to terms with their loss.
There was a minute's applause for Jimmy, but that connection, and I think a lot of Millwall supporters will say, you know, one of our own. and that's a big thing for a lot of clubs. One of our own, and Jimmy's one of our own, one of Millwall's own, and from that there are positive messages. You know, this is a good football club, good, decent, honest people that support it, good family football club, and we want to do whatever we can to help boost that.
I have to say, when we travel the country, we always say that we're Millwall supporters. It always brings a little...
It gets the usual moment.
Yeah, it gets the usual. But we always say we're proud to say we're Millwall supporters because, as Barry said, it is a family club. The supporters there have been absolutely amazing to us, and we couldn't be more grateful. It really touches our hearts. Jimmy's legacy is one of forgiveness, peace and hope. So it doesn't matter whether we're speaking to in a prison, schools, the police, because we do police talks as well. That message is very clear and we use the same 3 words. Because I think what's happening today is things are happening and no one's forgiving, and it's starting to get, we're all getting angrier and angrier. So that message of forgiveness, peace and hope is very, very important, and I think that's Jimmy's legacy. And we must be doing something right because we keep getting invited back to schools. So I don't know what it is. And we encourage young people to go out and be the change makers and the peacemakers. Use their voices, because the change that's going to come will come from young people. It won't come from us.
Millwall have done a great deed for a great child, and we really appreciate what they've done.
Playing other teams, everything.
It's very exciting.
And getting out of school?
Yeah! I'm winning the chamber!
Well, the smiles on the faces in stark contrast, of course, to what Margaret and Barry have been through, and the ability and the forgiveness that they've shown. On the website that they've got, get yourself over to that, please. It's a statement from Barry, Jimmy's dad. In the face of tragedy, they refused to succumb to despair, and my word, have they done that. And then some senseless act of violence against their beautiful son. But what they've put forth into the world, Curtis, is just unbelievable, isn't it?
It is unreal to, as I say, to use a tragedy to help others, and their stance on it to say, this kid was born into a loving family, some kids weren't, and that's why they make these mistakes. To be able to step back and look at it that way when you're the one that suffered that tragedy is unreal, and they're better people than I am, because that's fantastic strength.
And the way that they have gone about, in Jimmy's memory, helping other people, Troy, because, and this is not to kind of dial any of it down at all, but that sliding doors moment where a young person could go down a road that affects and devastates other people's lives. Yeah. To have that ability, that big-heartedness to say, no, we're going to pull you back from the brink. It's so pivotal for a young person, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I come from that environment, so for me to see those stories, you can resonate those young people that get to go to Millwall, to get to see. I think for young people to see something is always easier than to hear, oh, don't do this because you'll get in trouble. Actually see what you can become, and the strength that both the parents have taken, as Curtis alluded to. I probably wouldn't be able to do that, but to see these people do it, that inspires me now. What are we doing with our platforms to make sure that we're helping people? So, fantastic for the family, but also well done to Millwall for showcasing that, because as they said, they say they're Millwall fans and they get scoffed at. But that's unfair because it's not everybody. So I think it's brilliant that we've shown that.
I think it's such a good point you make as well, Troy, about what Millwall is, because it's a very unique place to play football.
Absolutely.
But it's the identity of the people and the fan base. When Barry talks about Millwall talking about Jimmy being one of their own, you absolutely know what he means, don't you?
Yeah, once you're anywhere near that club, you know that anyone that belongs to that football club wears that badge is brought into the family, and I think
and
that's the
life, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it, and that's the feeling you get when you go to that ground. It's hostile, it's horrible, yes, but towards their own players, they're 100% backing them, and as you say, with fans and the things like that, the minute's applause for their son, how they must have felt in that moment, that all these fans have come out in support of their son, must have been a fantastic feeling for them.
And given what we've seen from Millwall, it's reflected around the EFL, something that we're all very proud to be a part of, how big the community aspect of what a football club is, what it means to the people, and how it can bring people together, as we said, out of something so utterly horrendous, to put forth love back into the world.
Absolutely, and I spoke about it briefly there by using our platforms. It's something that I'm still passionate about, still doing to this day. We're trying to get kids back into school. Listen, without going off tangent too much, there's a lot of negativity in the world, isn't there? So if you can help one person, I call it the snowball effect, if you help one, that one helps three, and so on and so forth. So I just think for Millwall, the EFL, for Sky, everybody that's helping out, keep up the good work, because the world needs it. We need a little bit of enjoyment.
Absolutely unbelievable work being done by Margaret and Barry on behalf of the Jimmy Mizen Foundation. Certainly puts things into perspective, doesn't it, as we head towards kick-off up in the North East. 7 games in total on Sky Sports and Sky Sports Plus. The main focus is up at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland are unbeaten up there. Hull City are in town, and the countdown continues after the break.